Wasn't intentional, but things happened. You know the way it is. So order for today, gonna carry on. Finish off a couple of bits. And then we'll see where we get to. So I'm gonna crack on with a couple of Jakhals for something different. And then I realised, having put the shoulder pads on these guys, that one, I missed the underparts of the pauldrons, so they're going to need to be painted. Just a bit of a tidy up job. Other than that, so that is where we are. It hasn't been too bad. But apologies, I'm not normally late. I try to be punctual. But hey, things happen. So normally I'd mix up a bit of Emperor Gold with Gehenna Gold. But for the purposes of just doing these little bits at the bottom, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother for this evening. You guys know enough what I'll normally do. I try not to cut corners, but we're talking about little bits that no one's really going to be bothered by. So it's really just for my benefit, to be honest. Hey, Nold. Nold, I don't know what to believe anymore. Do I call you Nold, or do you prefer Jenna? That threw me. No, that's fair. I don't want to confuse the other folks. We'll go with Noel just for the purposes of continuity. Right, so what else am I missing? I was just saying, I didn't realise at the time when I stuck the pauldrons on, the putty obscured the undersides, so they're just grey. So I'm just going to tidy these up. Another downside to sub-assembly. Right, and yes, right, it is a 10. Well, to be fair, it's only myself that's probably going to notice, but the fact that I know it's there will infuriate the hell out of me. So I'd rather do it. Oh, even in Warden. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, what? And I realised, having done all of this, I forgot to do the trim on the barrel. So, never mind. Finish it up. The longer I do this for, I do wonder how long it's going to be for my eyes. Tell me that I need glasses. Oh, damn, and that's leaked. Damn. You almost missed another out. Oh. Nold sets notifications. But to be fair, I'm always, well, I mean, thank you for the compliment. I'm always conscious that the time for you is a little awkward. So I don't want to put you out. It's one of them for me being being 7 p.m. here. It's kind of the final hour before the kids start wrapping up for the evening. You ignore and mute everything. It's 3 under time. Yeah, fair enough. Oh no, fair enough. At least it's work. At least that's working. I do always wonder if the notification function works. Am I missing anything else on this one? All right. Right, and then just the same for this guy. Not as bad on this one. One, 2. Hit the bell, that's it. Like the magnet work. Yeah, to be fair, Warden, yes, I am pretty envious of your magnetisation affinity. I tried it with the Demon Prince. I think my only experience with magnets before has been just doing the bases, but to actually do it on the model, the first one was a complete failure. As I said, it was the Demon Prince, but yeah, I just got a little nervous about drilling into the back, and I got even more nervous when I saw the size of the hole in the wing. And my fear was that I was going to completely trash. I was going to completely trash it. So I just stopped and I just glued it. No, you didn't miss anything. Nathan, God, DL. Warden posted a another magnetisation project that he's started, so he's doing another rather large conversion. So right, yep, well, I'm going to call these 2 finished. So 8 more of those to do. 2 hours to go. Done the secret is to get the magnets in the body with a tiny drill with them. See, it's all these little tidbits we could all benefit from knowing. So, slight change of pace. I'm going to switch up, do a couple of the Jakhals. So, yeah. You're so slow. Well, it's better than old. It's better to go slow than to go too fast and gouge out inches of plastic. You can't really afford to screw up. Right, so I'm not sure if I covered it on the stream, so I'm not too happy with the general skin tones. I don't really have one that works. I've got sunny skin tone and normal skin, but I find that this combination is the closest that I can get to the old Citadel dwarf flesh. So it generally works. It's a little bit of a tester, just to start with, just to see how deep the colour goes. A Jackal just Chaos Kriegman. Effectively, yeah, Jakhals are the generic cultist battle line unit. Usual sort of MO. Toughness 1, sticky objectives, that kind of deal. Again, if you're familiar with Chaos Cultists, then these are just exactly that. You have to. Now, I was going to say the magnetisation job unit looks really good. I will be likely coming to you for some tips and pointers. Right. Right, I'm going to warm the skin tone up just a little bit before I start with the base coat. And I've realised that I've just cracked out mahogany brown. I need parasite brown. No wonder it's so dark. So ignore everything I've just shown you. Yeah, no more than that's it. It's just it's everyone just coming together, just helping each other out. So I want to try a slightly different method for setting the base tones for these. So I generally try and go with quite a heavy skin tone. I went light originally on the first batch of Jakhals. It just seemed to take forever. There's never not through project. I can't wait for my Yeah, I mean, if you've got capacity for your own hobby space, obviously it's a massive time saver where you're not constantly going backwards and forwards, setting up, putting away. So yeah, I can understand the implications, because I'm in the same boat. In the same boat with you on that one. So don't need to worry about going too light on this one. Just need to get a thick base coat down. It'd be interesting to see how much different this comes out to the first one of these I did. Invest in a little rechargeable drone. Yeah, I mean, well, I think a Dremel is a worthwhile investment, but there's something to be said for a pin vise and just that slow control. Because again, it's the same principle of, it's easy to make the hole bigger. It's another game making it smaller. You're joking, old, but that's I'm sure there's someone's lucky enough to have a singular disc space like that. All right, it's going too watery. The only game, obviously, is because I'm making this colour up. Obviously, when it runs dry, I've got to make it again and match it, which is a little infuriating, but it's only the base coat. Yeah, I think there's probably there's an argument for both. I think if it was me, I would probably pin vise to start, make sure that you're happy with the placement, and then switch to the Dremel, just so you've got that ability to churn through it, but you still controlled the initial bit. The only thing about these Jakhals that annoys me is that some of them have this mask that's got this like canister on the front. It really does block you from getting into the neck. Just drop the contrast down this, it looks quite bright. So all I'm probably going to do is go over with this base tone. Then I'll probably throw in some kind of volumetric highlight, and then probably crack out the airbrush just to soften some of those colour transitions. But no, thanks guys for jumping on. It's very appreciated. I use a hobby knife to start here. Yeah, to be fair, I did do that. I did the same thing. I used like an X-Acto blade just to start the holes off, and it was fine until I broke the blade off inside one of the models. I mean, it's my own fault, obviously. So it's the one part of painting skin I quite like, is getting the base tones all done, just because you don't need to be precise, and painting over white's so much nicer. So that is there any, one thing I didn't realise initially on some of these is they've got like torn patches on the legs, so the skin shows through. So it's the only thing I've got to be mindful of. So in terms of base coats, that's probably fine. And then display is probably the only go-to hobby tool company is anymore. Can't say I've heard of those, Nold. Is it a US thing? Oh, cheers, and it helps if you're a bit insane, to be honest. But it is what's it on. I am just wondering how long I've got before I need glasses. Because trying to paint the eyeballs on some of the faces is an absolute chore. Tools for every aspect. Oh, fair enough. To be fair, if I was probably more into the Gundam stuff, I'd probably be more familiar with the brand. I do kind of regret some of the choices of some of the angles on these, because trying to get to certain parts of the body is quite awkward. I've got a feeling this skin tone is probably on the dark side, to be honest. It's fine. It'll be managed down with the highlighting that will follow. Don't need overs here, no bills. Nah, well, I see Nold's talking. Nold is talking absolute sense. Just put helmets on everything, and you'll never have a problem. It's difficult when you want them to have a little bit of character. To be fair, Nold, having painted 20 ivory white Berzerkers, the prospect of painting a skin tone on a face is oddly exciting, just to get the opportunity to do a different colour. Probably wasn't quite ready for Emperor's Children, but I know to see Venno put the that competition on, so my wife has told me to what it combat patrol in the Emperor's Children. It's just like the way Jakhals look. Yeah, I could kind of get that. I think if I was going to go for a happy medium, I would consider proxying in Chaos Cultists, if you were so inclined, because they're same dimensions. Legally, I think they also use 28mm bases, but you don't have the kind of like blood canister aesthetic that these have. Me personally, I'm hoping that Emperor's Children get to import Chaos Cultists into the faction in 11th edition, just to give them a bit of variety. So I appreciate that. Oh, I'm knocking the camera. Because I appreciate that Tormentors have the sticky objective rule, which kind of is the thing for Jakhals. But from a functionality perspective, using Jakhals to screen obviously is a bonus. Lowest before books on a solid. No, I'm going to need a bit of context. $45 on a ball. Did you also go for Jakhals or just cast Kriegsman? Yes, I think I did, Nold. Yeah, basically, yeah, they are just a trash battle line unit with the purpose of either putting them in the back line to hold and screen out deep strike, keep sticky objective, or you can push a wave of them forward and screen out your advance. Yeah, it's all right, Warden. To be fair, I was saying yes, I did. I couldn't remember if I did. I thought I did. You never know with me. They got 8% off sales. Has a pole to airbrush stain. Oh, fair enough. Is that like the pole juts out so you can rest on it whilst you're painting? Yeah, that's all right. No, isn't it early for you? Oh no, it's not because you're an hour. Are you an hour in front or an hour behind, Warden? I want to say you're an hour behind. Yeah, I suppose how it makes safe. Yeah, it's good. Oh, 2 hours ahead. Ah, okay, fair enough. Good to know. Good to know. Do you know if Table's streaming this evening? He normally does a double Friday stream, doesn't he? Just in case we've got an opportunity to jump on afterwards. Oh god, jackal fingers. Ugh. Pick. It's a try, but I haven't heard anything. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So again, I apologise. Obviously, I'll try and keep everything as best in frame as I absolutely can. But I'm conscious that everything on these Jakhals is absolutely tiny. So, I mean, it helps. You can generally get them done relatively quickly, but right, so how are we for the base tone? Base tone doesn't look too bad. What cameras do you use? Oh, I'm literally just using an iPhone. To be honest, Warden. No fancy setups. To be fair, it doesn't normally do too badly, but obviously it struggles on particularly small objects, or when there's a like block of colour. Right. And I missed the hand. Oh, I was going to miss something. Excuse my old 5G battery was swollen. Yeah, no, play it safe. Play it safe. So yeah, we'll get the base tone locked in for these. Then flash over a mid-tone, and then drop probably a highlight airbrush. What is a string thing, but a great quality from the start. Well, when you do, Nod, let me know, and I'll join you with whatever you find. To be fair, until a couple of weeks back, obviously I'd never streamed. I'd never streamed before, but live and learn. My camera isn't the best. So stuff anyway. Yeah. To be fair, it's I mean, technology moves on so quickly that I would worry, the general premise, how a webcam would perform. I'm not too worried that there's a slight variation in the base skin tone. It's going to happen, but doesn't quite matter for the base colours, as long as the mid-tone is consistent. So I think this pose was one of the first ones. To be fair, I think this was the one I used in my original video. Oh, cheers, and we try. We don't always get it right, but we try. So what we'll do then is I will block in, probably just take normal skin tone, and we'll start blocking in the, what brush am I using? What brush is this? 3. Where's my brush with a good tip? This one should probably do. So all I want to do with this one is basically take the original skin tone and bring it up, and obviously anything in recess I'm going to leave, trying to avoid creating an island. And oh god, I forgot these guys have got stitches. Ugh, such a faff. Right. There's details on these you just forget are on here until you actually start doing them. Do you normally do multiple at a time? In absolute honesty, Nold, no. Normally, I will do one piece exclusively, because I prefer to kind of see it progress. So no, I don't normally paint multiple. Are you in the same boat, or is it just me? Like, if it was just doing the demon prints and I wasn't streaming, I would still be doing the demon prints. Sometimes a massive brush like an out of 42. What's going on? Well, there's a couple of bits there, Nold. So if you got too much going on because you got too many projects going on, you struggle to do one. And Warden, I completely agree, because I've just base coated this with a 3, but a 7 has a better tip. So fully with you on that one. Too many projects, too many work. That's the struggle. Struggle in a nutshell. What video on the demon print? Oh, cheers, Warden. It was a little frustrating that obviously it's not at the point where it's finished. And yeah, you know, I would have liked to have just done it when it was finished, but conscious that I've got so much to do to get it there, that in terms of, you know, being able to get something out with consistency, it was going to take an absolute age. So I pulled the trigger on it, but it's one of them, be able to do a kind of a roundup. kind of a roundup video on it, so just starting to build up these layers. Where's my skin tone? Here it is. This one. Dear Prince Part 2 reading. Challenge video stream to do well for many painters. Yeah, I think there's a fine line for challenge painting. Because it's got to, I mean, for me personally, there's got to be something in me for him to enjoy about it. Because at the end of the day, you know, the hobby is for us, first and foremost. Don't get me wrong, obviously, yeah, you put stuff on YouTube that there is a kind of attention bias. But you got to enjoy what you're doing, especially for something as expensive as 40k is. Because geez, if you're not enjoying what you're painting, it's a lonely old time. Oh, I forgot to do the hand. Damn it. Apologies, I'm also conscious that I've just pulled this out of shot. Right, so I'm not too concerned about highlighting under the neck, because that's naturally where the shadow is going to fall for this one. So, Mrs. Warden went to the store. Oh, see now, what store? Yeah, I will admit, Nold, if this was I think if I was in the States, I may have a slightly different opinion. Because the prices you guys have to put up with is bonkers. It's ludicrously expensive for you, and I will admit that. We did New York last year. I thought, oh, whilst we're over there, jump it over again. Obviously, it's New York prices as well, so that didn't help. Yeah, this is where Warden says Mrs. Warden's gone to the shop, but it's the 40k store. How much is a box of intercessors for you? Good question. I don't actually know. Let me just double check. Are you talking like Amazon? So 40k. So a box of Space Marine Assault Intercessors. I can get for £39, if that's good. I'm a bit out of touch with Space Marines, so I'm not too sure. Seems kind of reasonable. Right, so I'm just going to come back in with top highlight. So I'm not highlighting down on this one. $65. Ooh. Okay. I mean, you got to. I suppose I've got to count for conversion, but it's, yeah, it still seems a little expensive. So at this point, I'm not going to. I'm now going to stop painting in full layers. And I'm just going to paint in stipples and strokes. It's ironic because the part of my brain wants to go paint the whole thing. But then equally, I know that the way that the light is going to hit this wouldn't naturally do that. It's coming on. 52 bucks. I was in the US, it's 50 now compared to US stores. Yep, that's true. Always. To be fair, I can't remember the last time I brought anything from Games Workshop directly. Actually, I think the last time I brought anything from Games Workshop directly was 2005. I'm trying to say it's decades ago. When picked up set starts, I would put more effort into my model holders. I can't say anything because this is just a piece of dowel. I was not prepared to get into that for what GW are asking for some bits of plastic at all. Don't get me wrong, I mean, in terms of a quality of life, peace, you know, they've got the uses, most definitely. Right. I've still missed the hand. Damn it. I'm gonna have to make a note, come back to do that. So the second time I've mentioned it to myself. One of the 3D printers was come out with a recycle for failed prints so that you can take back into filament. Cool. God, if you could find a way to recycle sprue, you would make an absolute killing. Because it is pretty criminal how much plastic we end up wasting off of the sprues. I think when I did the Lord Invocatus piece, I'm sure I had something like, it's about 150 grams of plastic left on the sprue. And it's like, that's, you know, that's plastic that we're paying for that's just not going to get used. But yeah, you'd be like the first person to sort out hydrogen for cars, make an absolute, I'll drop my brush. I'll make an absolute killing. Where's part of the prices minis? Yeah, it is. It is. I know the company that makes Gundam recycling things in Japan. Yeah, see, if the Japanese are always a little bit ahead, aren't they, on stuff like this? Always a couple of steps ahead. I mean, hopefully it's something that transitions. It'll transition across, hopefully. Hopefully. Right. So the skin tone on this one is pretty much as high as I want to take it at the minute. I'm going to do this hand now because I've forgotten. But the next bit I'm going to try is coming back in with my airbrush. So just want to see something. I'll stick on. There are some occasions when I wish I had a GW holder. This is starting to fill one of them. So yeah, would be a game changer. So yeah, so it's just a very soft graduation to the next skin tone. Again, trying to avoid the big jumps, because ultimately I just want to do something like this skin tone all over. It's quite nice that the Berzerkers are fully covered, or these ones are, but then you get some of the awkward ones where like the arm is exposed, which makes it a bit of a finick. Why would you want a GW holder? Well, I mean, in fairness, it is nice when they grasp it, because on these, as I'm holding, it does push. I do find that I end up pushing the model off the base a little bit, so I'm having to constantly readjust. Don't get me wrong, I've lived with it for the last year, so it's not going to be anything that's going to make me change what I'm doing now. But, you know, it does make you think a little bit. An orc model holder. The difference. Because what I want to try to do is improve on, because I've not painted Jakhals since last. Oh God, when did I paint Jakhals last? I can't remember. It was last year anyway. And I'd like to try and do an improved job on what I did last year. If I can. So again, just changing the technique slightly will probably help. Obviously there's things that I'm more comfortable with now. I think the biggest change for me is I'm more comfortable with the airbrush than I was last time. Sorry, I'm going to have to take this off camera because I can't work out what part of his chest that is. Okay. Yeah, probably my biggest thing is I'm more confident with the airbrush. Than I was last year. I mean, don't be wrong, I'm obviously pleased with, you know, the way that stuff turned out last year. But yeah, I'm also always looking for the next best thing. Last time Jack was never. To be fair, Noel, you're not really missing. You're not really missing anything. Although I have found that I do quite like painting skin. It's a little weird, to be honest, because as much as I say that I hate doing it, when I don't know, I guess it's one of those, when it's, I guess it's just that sense of if you get it to look right, it's pretty good. Doesn't always work, but never try, never know. You like paintings? Yeah. To be fair, Warden, the only reason I say that is because I spent so long painting white that, I don't know, it feels like I've got a bit of brain rot from having painted the same colour scheme. And I think doing the skin and the faces is the only kind of chance that I get to do something different. So it's my little reprieve to myself. Yeah, to be fair, if you get when you get the consistency right, it's like, it is really nice how quickly it comes together. Right, so As I said, I may be a minority in that painting skin is a reprieve, but you know. The face of Dylan incest was super bad. Arax actually carried hard with it. I see people here not thinning their paint. Sometimes feel like a weirdo thinning. Nah, to be fair, if you think you're thinning your paints too much, you're probably not thinning them enough. Yeah, it's a really weird one to try and get right now. We all still get it wrong from time to time, but it's just a continual learning process. Don't listen your paints. The paint will act a certain way if it's too thin. Yeah, it will act a certain way, and it will also act a certain way if your brush is loaded too much, which is obviously generally why people will unload the body. But yeah, it's a very fine balance. But then again, obviously having it too thick, it just goes the completely opposite way, and it will just trash whatever it is you're painting. So now I'm just going to drop the highlight concentrate onto here. Squidmart did a really good video on doing skin, which is invaluable. So if you haven't had a chance to catch up with Squidmart, I'd definitely recommend having a look at their bits, because they do some really good. The advice is great. Right, so kind of ish whereabouts I need that to be. I always do wipe my finger on the back of my hand. Yeah, it's always safe. Always safe to unload on the back of your thumb, just to double check. Old at Wood. Who's got 36 boxes? Is that you or Nold? And 36 boxes of what? Right. So that's about, it's nearly about the same. It's a fraction off on the highlight. Right. What's going on? It's about to stall. My friend wants to work. Yes, 36 boxes of Gundam. Oh, I mean, I'm not into Gundam personally, but even though I know that's a lot of boxes. Holy moly, that's a lot. Right. Right, so this is about as much as I want to throw the highlights on here. So I'm just going to crack the airbrush out. I'll just see if I can define these little bits a tiny bit more. And that's about, they're about right. Thereabouts. Minus space to display. Okay, nah, no worries, not. Have a good one. Stay safe, bud. Go collect some more Gundam. Right. Just grab my airbrush. What I'll probably say, guys, is I'm probably going to get the highlight sections on these done, and I'm probably going to call it a night from that point. But I am pretty pleased with how that's gone. If I'd realised, I would have grabbed my flow improver before I did all this. There you go. That's why you keep it close to hand. So I think if I do sunny skin tone, just to finish these bits off, I might just use the rest of my skin tone that I've got, so I'm not wasting it. Airbrush time? Yeah, it is. It certainly is. I'm going to grace everyone with the infamous cardboard box. Hold up, where did I put it? Oh, it's out. Yeah, I don't want to do loads on this. I just simply need it to, I just simply need it to, I'd stream up way too hot right now. So, so a little torn on which angle I want the light on. These possibly, probably go this way up. And that's exactly the problem. There we go. So that kind of just picks it up just slightly to the point where when I put probably a little bit more on, 27 degrees, that's on the warm side, Warden. Yikes. How'd you get on? Okay, here's a question. How do you get on? Do you need a humidifier? Because I'm guessing you struggle to paint in that temperature. You definitely struggle to spray or prime. Apologies, didn't mean to hit the camera. So yeah, no, that's a pretty subtle jump. It's just enough to catch. Just enough to catch that difference, so that'll come out quite well. The air conditioning stuff I don't know. Oh, it's good for the dragon then. Need an airbrush. When you come ask, so I will admit I'm not actually wearing the mask at the minute. Only, now I wouldn't recommend it obviously, only because the amount I'm spraying is very minimal. If I was doing a bigger bulk, if I was doing something like you know, like a base coating, then yes, I would certainly airbrush. I would certainly have the mask on. Yeah, but I haven't. I haven't for today. So yeah, you need to preserve that voice copy again. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Well, I am conscious of time for you guys and for the kids, but I'll probably not waste any more of your time. But no, I'm glad that we managed to get these started. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to doing the rest of these. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm definitely glad to have managed to have finished these first two off. I think the big jump in the processing for doing the ivory armor is probably the biggest game changer. And the new kraut cover for the basing really sells it. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the way that's turned out. But no, thank you ever so much for guys for jumping on. If I don't catch you before, I'll catch you on Monday at the latest. But no, keep safe guys, have a good one.